one gonna approach me from here? Nice. It is supposed to be a free left, except it's not free because there's like 100 different things in front of it. Ooh, what's that? So you know this bike that's going in front of us, I think it's either an RX 100 or a 135. I actually learned how to ride on one of these. They are the perfect learner bike. It's a 2-stroke and it has you need insane throttle control for this motorcycle, even more so than some of the, like this 155 is very forgiving, but that's a 135 and it's not even half as forgiving. Like you feather the throttle and that thing's gonna like launch off, and that's what I learned on. And the funny thing is, I tried to learn how to ride on this bike, and I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, I need to learn how to ride. I want to learn how to ride. This bike is so fun. I actually have a picture sitting on the RX 135 as a kid, and that was just like pre-monition or whatever. And I really want to learn how to ride, but the story goes, we went to an open sort of lot, and my dad set the bike in neutral, and he was like, okay, now start it. And try as I might, the damn thing would not start. Like, it just would not. I didn't know the sort of technique required to start a bike like that, but the kickstart was just so difficult for me to get working. And my dad was like, how the hell are you gonna learn how to ride if you can't even start the bike? Like, what's the point, you know? So what he did was, he taught me how to put the bike in neutral, and he taught me how to like hold on to the clutch, and he just gave me the keys, and he went home, and he was like, you do one thing, you figure out how to start this motorcycle, and then we can think about actually riding it. And so that's what I did for one whole day, and it was a series of stupidities. Like, I'd try to start the bike, and I'd hear like the starter motor, like the crank sort of sound, but then it wouldn't start, and I was like, what's going on? That's so weird. The reason it wouldn't start was because I had the ignition off, and so I turned the ignition on, and I was like, okay, now's the time. Now I heard the crank go. I'm pretty sure this will work now. So now's the time for me to... Oh dear, what's going on here? Anyway, so now's the time for me to sort of learn how to ride. Like, biker girl, let's go. No, it wouldn't start. Half an hour later, I figured out why. The fuel was turned off. In these old bikes, you have to turn on the fuel. The fuel doesn't just keep going to the engine always. You have to turn it on, the fuel valve, and only then will it work. So I did that, and then I eventually managed to get to start. Oh, this is so difficult. This conversation is not okay. The conversation's fine, but yeah. So that happened. There we go, neutral. Anyway, so that happened, and what else? Yeah, I figured out how to start it, and my dad was like, okay. Then he sat behind me, and he was like, now put it in first gear, then, feather the throttle, and be careful when you feather the throttle. If you're not careful, the bike will launch into the wall, and we will all die, and we will also lose what is essentially a very old, very valuable bike. And then I was like, yeah, I got this. And then I immediately stalled, and I just kept stalling for the longest time. Stalling, like, cause he'd taught me that you should be very light on the throttle, right? So I was like, okay, let's be very light on the throttle and not give any at all, and stall the damn thing. So that happened, and then I eventually sort of figured it out, and then I got my license. And that's another fun story, I guess. When I got my license, I did like the figure 8 test in on one of those mopedy things, like I think it's called M80. So I did my 8 on that, but I did the road test on a motorcycle. I practiced for the road test. I practiced for the road test on my dad's bike, and then I did the actual road test on, I think, a CB Shine or a Platina or something. And the day I did it, I rode and I took like a U-turn and everything, and I came to a stop, and then the instructor was just like, "You're the best rider here," and I was just so stoked because my little girl heart was just like, "Oh wow, I'm the best rider here." Anyway, that happened. But then we sort of grew out of that because being the best rider at the license test means very little, honestly, because riding a motorcycle on Indian roads is a whole nother ballgame. Can you please let me go? Thank you. Oh God. Okay. So this is Panambali Nagar, and we have the worst possible roads leading to Panambali Nagar, but Panambali Nagar itself is actually a pretty fun place. We used to come here, look at my bike, scream and cry about these bumps. Anyway, yeah, so where was I? Being the best at the license test means very little on the road. There we go. Because riding on the road, especially in India, is a very different ball game altogether, and no amount of license tests can prepare you for that. Oh my God. Thank God.